Yo, real quick, I just wanted to let you all know that I'm running out of stories to tell. I mean, I'm sure I'll find a way to bring up the past in some way or another, but as of now, I only have 2 stories on my mind. I won't say which ones they are, just know that the one you're about to hear was chosen because I thought it would be a bit more interesting to tell. So, you know what? Just roll the footage and I'll explain this as it plays. Anywho, the reason I bring that up is because I'm unsure of what to do next. Remember when I was just to record myself in my room and talk about something worth learning about, and I decided to share it with you? Well, I really enjoy doing that. Those first videos are what really motivated me to keep on progressing. Like, if push comes to shove, I'll keep on doing that, like, no problem. But even though those videos weren't really edited and professional, I still loved making them for what they were worth. I don't know about you, but those videos were very inspiring to me. If it wasn't for me making those type of videos in the first place, I really don't know what I would have done with my life. So that's why I'm grateful in those regards. Also, I know how he said I'm unsure of what to do next, so to clarify, let me begin to say that I'm sure something will come out of it, and I will just end up progressing accordingly. But as I am writing this, or speaking this, I'm a bit stumped. So if any of you guys have any suggestions that would you like me to do in the future, go right ahead, and I'm sure I can trust you guys to help me out. Thank you. And Mo, I'm keeping my intro, okay? Fuck you, bye, enjoy the video! So back when I was 16, in my senior year of high school, that's when things had changed for me the most. What I mean by that is that all the way from age 15, all I cared about at the time were family, school, video games, and cartoons. You know how in my previous video, I said I never really had any friends due to my strange nature of being too obsessed with video games? Well, don't worry about that. When I was in high school, things had changed drastically. I mean, I made plenty of friends. Hell, the entire fucking school district loved me. At this point, there wasn't a popular crowd. Oh no, I was the popular crowd. Okay, I had like 2 friends, but hey. The way I see it, would you either have very few close and trustworthy friends with whom you can trust and talk to with ease, or would you rather have 200 acquaintances that thought very little of you? Well, you know how in high school, having a lot of friends is supposed to be a status symbol of your self-worth or whatever? Well, I didn't really care about that, because honestly, I found all of that to be a huge waste of time. I know I sound old by saying all of that, but, I mean, am I wrong? Looking back at my parents' lives, they'd never really bothered to stay connected with their friends that they met in high school, so I'm glad my parents played it safe after all those years. I mean, they're working hard at their jobs and sacrificing a lot of time and effort into everyone in this house so they can live with food, warmth, clothing, and shelter. When I was younger, I never really paid any attention to that. But the fact that I have a job myself, it makes me take a step back and appreciate all they've done for this time. A lot of shit is expensive nowadays, and knowing that money doesn't come cheap, it really makes you thankful for what you do have now. I know as humans, enough is never enough, but we could always want more. But if you don't step back and become content with the current things you have now, how are you able to appreciate what you have in the future? Moving on. To get back on track, what I want to talk about today is the time I spent in 12th grade. See, in high school, I was always the quiet kid. Not a lot of kids really wanted to talk to me, and because I was already content with my 2 close friends that I've made throughout the years, I really didn't want to talk to anyone else either. But for some strange reason, there was this one girl who really enjoyed talking to me. I don't remember too much about her, but let's just say that she decided to wear a Pikachu hoodie on the first day we met. Maybe she did that on purpose so people won't forget about her, I don't know. Oh, and also, you know how I like to preserve anonymity and all that jazz? Well, to be honest, it's been such a long time that I don't even remember her name, so let's just call her Janet. So, the first thing Janet does is walk up to me and start asking me a bunch of questions as some sort of conversation starter or some shit. It felt as though I was being bombarded with all these questions, and all I could think about at the time were 2 things. First, why the fuck is she wearing a Pikachu hoodie? And second, whatever happened to saying hello? Honestly, I know a lot of people with anxiety like to use some sort of cringeworthy icebreaker or some shit, but in my opinion, you can't go wrong with hello. Like, I know if you somehow manage to fuck that up, then I don't know what to tell you, dude. So at this point, I'm pretty much being treated like fucking 20 questions over here. As she's throwing these questions to me, I'm not giving any time to answer them. Like, are you trying to start a conversation, or am I being interrogated? Like, what the fuck? Anywho, fast forward to a few weeks and we become some sort of friends/acquaintance or something. I don't know. Maybe it's just me, but I wouldn't instantly classify someone as a friend just because they talk to me. Just because someone is friendly to you does not necessarily make them your friend. That's just my opinion. But As we start hanging out at school, for whatever reason, Janet feels it was necessary to mess with my jacket as I'm wearing it. Thinking about this now, I can say a lot of shit she did was just really annoying and bothersome. But because she was one of the first girls that actually gave me attention, I really enjoyed it. At that time, all I'm thinking about is how cute she was and how she would try to interact with me. Knowing I tried my best to ignore a lot of people, this girl was persistent. Like, there was no backing down. So at that time, I found a lot of what she did was just the cutest. And knowing that my senior prom was coming up, I wanted to bring her along. Just one problem. I haven't had my first kiss yet.
You serious?
So, I tell Janet about this, and she kindly asked to help me in those regards. But in all honesty, when I was 16, with no experience of dating whatsoever, having my first kiss was just awkward and awful. It didn't even feel like a kiss. It felt disgusting. I didn't like it. My first kiss was ruined. Like, I'm sure Janet meant well, but I messed that up so badly that my first kiss turned into my first 3 kisses, because I just wanted to redo each one out of embarrassment and pity. I actually feel bad for Janet because of that. But I mean, hey, she put up with it, so... Skip ahead to prom night, and I arrived at Janet's house. She's freaking out because the car that's taking us to the prom was a limousine. To me, it's just an average vehicle, so I thought nothing of it. So, Janet and I get to the location, but because my parents had a busy schedule, they had to drive us there an hour early. I mean, I fully understood the decision of getting there early, but Janet was a bit upset. See, she had a plan, like most of everyone else, to be there fashionably late. But given that my parents had a busy schedule, Janet's plans were thwarted. Nonetheless, Janet and I tried to make the most of it. We did unfortunately had to sit in the lobby, but it was only for an hour, so it wasn't that bad. When everyone had shown up, we decided to take it easy. Because this was both mine and Janet's first date, naturally there were a lot of awkward moments. She persisted on us dancing together, but since I can't dance at all, at first I politely declined her offer. Then she said, "Come on, we came out here to have fun. I'm sure we'd have a lot more fun if we danced, instead of wasting our time here sitting on these tables all night." And I guess she had a point, but I told her I was shy because I'm just an awful dancer. See, I'm left-handed, so with that logic alone, naturally I would have 2 left feet. I mean, could you blame me? I had trouble talking to people in my high school years, and because I had no relationship experience, I felt immediately discouraged after those first kisses that I had. But for some reason, she wouldn't believe me. Instead of understanding my trouble, she legit said, "Well, if you're so bad at everything else, truly you must be a great dancer."
I have several questions.
First, how am I even supposed to react to that? Second, what am I supposed to say in regards to that? And third, who the fuck even says shit like that? Like, what? Truly I must be a great dancer if I'm bad at everything else. I mean, if I can't run, I could fly, guys. If I can't swim, I could play basketball, guys. I'm the best basketball player in the fucking world. Alright, all jokes aside. I couldn't understand what or why or how she said that. It's just, well, if you're bad at everything else, truly you must be a great dancer.
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard. At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought. Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it. I award you no points, and may God have mercy on your soul.
So that being said, we end up going on the dance floor, and as the next slow song plays, her and I decide to dance together. But I tried. Like, I really tried to. I was nervous, it was embarrassing, I felt forced, I wasn't having any fun. It wasn't a good time, guys. On top of that, instead of telling me that I've been stepping on her feet all of this time by accident no less, Janet just passively says that her feet have been hurting this entire night. And what's worse is that I wasn't even picking up on her hints. But a few minutes later, her and I sit back down and she decides to call her father to pick her up from prom 2 hours early. I politely asked her if I could have my parents drive her home, but she denies the request, walks outside of the building, and gets picked up from her parents and never speaks to me again. I felt so bad. All I did was just try my best to actually attempt to like someone. I even tried to call her a day or two after, but on the third day, she messages me with the following. There's something I should tell you. I'm sorry, but I haven't been completely honest. See, I broke up with my boyfriend about a month ago, and I felt if I had asked you out, I would forget about him. But he's been on my mind so much lately that I miss him. I've been thinking of talking to him again, and to see if he wants me back, but you used me? After all of this time of you flirting with me and asking to be my girlfriend, it wasn't because you actually liked me, but you used me as your rebound? No, I'm sorry. It's not like that. It's just, no. I don't want to hear it. I just told myself from day one that I wasn't going to fall in love at school. I told myself that I would focus on my studies and not get distracted with petty relationships. When I started this school year, I didn't want to talk to anyone. I wanted to stay in my own little world of video games and keep it to myself. Until you came along and messed all that up. You were persistent in trying to speak with me. You've tried all you could to make me converse back. You forced me to open up to you. You pulled my chair so close to yours so it would be easier for you to put your arms around mine while I took notes in class. You leaned against me and kept kissing my cheek until I would tell you to stop. You thought I was playing around when my tone of voice clearly sounded like I was serious. You forced me to fall in love with you and nearly spend $2,000 on this prom night so you could have a good time. And despite me stepping on your feet, and instead of trying to make the best of it, you decided to call your parents and pick me up from prom night and leave 2 hours earlier than intended. You've ignored my calls, and now, you don't even have the audacity to tell me this in person? Do you think by telling me how you feel now, through a text message, telling me that I was just a rebound will justify anything? Look, I said I was sorry. No. You aren't sorry. Because if you were, you wouldn't have even spoken to me in the first place. Well, that's how my prom night went. All I can say is, if you want to take someone to prom with you, make sure you actually do it and enjoy your time being spent with that person. In my opinion, you'll have a better time if you do. Otherwise, using someone as a rebound is never a good idea. Thank you for watching. I'm going to take a cold shower now and have a greater day than I did. That being said, this is Commander Strider, signing out.